From the pilot who became America's top ace over Europe, to the Navy flyer who shot down 9 enemy aircraft in a single mission, to the P-38 pilot who finished the war with 40 confirmed aerial victories. These are the 5 deadliest American fighter pilots of World War II, and number 1 became the highest-scoring American fighter ace of any war. Chapter 5. Robert S. Johnson. Robert S. Johnson entered combat over Europe, flying the Republic P-47 Thunderbolt. The airplane was heavy, powerful, and extremely tough. In the hands of pilots who understood how to use its speed, diving ability, and firepower, the P-47 became one of the most dangerous American fighters in the European theater. Johnson flew with the 56th Fighter Group, one of the most successful fighter organizations in the 8th Air Force. His early combat experience was anything but easy. In June 1943, Johnson's Thunderbolt was badly damaged during a fight with German aircraft. His canopy jammed, his engine was hit, and he was unable to bail out. A German fighter attacked him repeatedly as he struggled home. The P-47 absorbed an extraordinary amount of punishment, and Johnson survived. After that, his victory total began climbing rapidly. Johnson became especially effective at using the Thunderbolt's strengths instead of trying to fight German fighters on their terms. He attacked with speed, used altitude whenever possible, and relied on the 8 50 caliber machine guns mounted in the P-47's wings. By the end of his combat tour, official Air Force historical scoring credited Johnson with 28 aerial victories. That placed him among the highest-scoring American fighter pilots of World War II. The victories were not simply numbers on a scoreboard. Each one came from a brief, violent encounter where a mistake could mean death within seconds. Johnson's success helped prove that the massive Thunderbolt, sometimes underestimated because of its size, could dominate skilled German opponents when flown correctly. He survived the war and later became a test pilot. Johnson's story showed something important about air combat. Survival was not enough. To become an ace at this level, a pilot had to survive long enough to learn, then become more dangerous with every mission. And the next pilot became America's leading ace against Germany. Chapter 4. Francis Gabreski. Francis "Gabby" Gabreski wanted to understand his enemy before he fought him. Before flying combat with the U.S. Army Air Forces, Gabreski spent time attached to a Polish fighter squadron in Britain. The experience helped prepare him for the brutal air war over occupied Europe. Gabreski eventually joined the 56th Fighter Group and flew the P-47 Thunderbolt. Like Johnson, he learned to use the aircraft's speed, altitude performance, durability, and heavy armament. By 1944, Gabreski had become one of the most successful fighter pilots in Europe. The National Museum of the United States Air Force credits him with 28 official air-to-air victories during World War II, making him the top American ace in aerial combat over Europe. Gabreski also destroyed aircraft on the ground, but aerial victories are what place him here. His reputation came from repeated success against Luftwaffe pilots defending Germany itself. But his final World War II mission almost ended very differently. On July 20th, 1944, Gabreski was attacking a German airfield when his propeller struck the ground during a low-level strafing run. His aircraft was damaged, and he crash-landed. Gabreski escaped the wreck, but was eventually captured. Instead of finishing the war in the cockpit, America's leading European ace spent the remaining months as a prisoner at Stalag Luft 1. He survived and later returned to combat in Korea, where he became an ace again. That made Gabreski one of the rare American pilots to achieve ace status in 2 different wars. But in World War II alone, his record had already placed him among America's elite. And the next pilot did something no other American naval aviator matched. Chapter 3. David McCampbell. David McCampbell did not become a fighter ace until relatively late in the war. Once he started, his score climbed at an astonishing pace. McCampbell served aboard the aircraft carrier USS Essex and commanded Air Group 15. He flew the Grumman F-6F Hellcat, the fighter that became one of the symbols of American naval air superiority in the Pacific. His first extraordinary day came during the Battle of the Philippine Sea in June 1944. Japanese carrier aircraft attacked the American fleet in large formations. American fighters intercepted them in what became known as the Great Marianas Turkey Shoot. McCampbell personally shot down 7 Japanese aircraft that day. Then, on October 24, 1944, during the Battle of Leyte Gulf, he produced one of the most remarkable fighter missions in American history. McCampbell and another Hellcat attacked a large Japanese formation approaching the American fleet. He kept attacking until his ammunition and fuel were almost gone. By the end of the mission, McCampbell had been credited with 9 enemy aircraft destroyed in the air, 9 in one mission. The Naval History and Heritage Command identifies that as the American record for aerial victories during a single flight. McCampbell finished his combat tour with 34 confirmed aerial victories. McCampbell's 9-victory mission was especially remarkable because he returned with almost no ammunition and so little fuel that his Hellcat ran dry after landing aboard another carrier. That mattered. That made him the leading U.S. Navy ace of World War II and the highest-scoring American ace who survived the war. His Air Group 15 also became one of the most successful carrier air groups of the conflict. Before we move to the final 2, tell me in the comments, who do you think was America's deadliest fighter pilot of World War II? And if you enjoy rankings like this, subscribe for more stories about the pilots, soldiers, commanders, and battles that shaped military history. Because the next man came within 2 victories of number 1. Chapter 2. Thomas McGuire. Thomas McGuire flew the Lockheed P-38 Lightning in the Southwest Pacific. The P-38 was fast, heavily armed, and capable of operating across the enormous distances of the Pacific Theater. McGuire became one of its greatest pilots. He flew with the 475th Fighter Group as American forces moved from New Guinea toward the Philippines. McGuire escorted bombers, flew fighter sweeps, attacked enemy aircraft, and repeatedly entered combat against Japanese fighters. His score rose quickly. By late 1944, McGuire was chasing a record that seemed almost impossible. Richard Bong had become America's leading ace. McGuire was closing the gap. On December 25th and 26th, 1944, McGuire shot down 7 Japanese aircraft across 2 days of combat. Those actions became part of the record for which he received the Medal of Honor. His total reached 38 confirmed aerial victories. Only 1 American pilot had more. Then, on January 7th, 1945, McGuire led 4 P-38s over Los Negros Island. A Japanese fighter engaged the formation at low altitude. When another American pilot came under threat, McGuire maneuvered to help. His P-38 stalled during the low-altitude turn and crashed. McGuire was killed. He was 24 years old. The Air Force Historical Support Division credits him with 38 aerial victories, all scored in the P-38. He finished the war as the second highest-scoring American ace in history, and number 1 was the only American pilot McGuire could not catch. Chapter 1. Richard Bong. Richard Ira Bong became America's ace of aces. Like McGuire, Bong flew the P-38 Lightning in the Southwest Pacific. His style was aggressive, but his greatest strength was his shooting. Bong understood that getting close before firing increased his chances of destroying an enemy aircraft. His first victories came in late 1942. From there, the score kept rising. Bong fought over New Guinea, the Bismarck Sea region, and other parts of the Southwest Pacific as American forces slowly pushed toward the Philippines. On April 12, 1944, he scored his 26th and 27th aerial victories. That moved him past Eddie Rickenbacker's American record of 26 victories from World War I. Bong was already a national hero, but he was not finished. After completing a combat tour, he returned to the Pacific as a gunnery instructor. He was no longer required to fly regular combat missions. He volunteered anyway. During missions in late 1944, Bong added more victories to his total. His final score reached 40 confirmed enemy aircraft destroyed in aerial combat. No American fighter pilot has ever officially surpassed it. General Douglas MacArthur personally presented Bong with the Medal of Honor. Unlike McGuire, Bong survived his combat service, but he did not survive the year. After returning to the United States, Bong became involved in testing the new P-80 jet fighter. On August 6, 1945, the engine of his P-80 failed shortly after takeoff from Burbank, California. Bong attempted to escape, but he was too low. He died at the age of 24. His death came on the same day the atomic bomb was dropped on Hiroshima. Robert Johnson mastered the Thunderbolt and became one of Europe's leading American aces. Gabreski became America's top air-to-air ace against Germany. McCampbell became the Navy's greatest fighter ace and set an American single-mission record. McGuire reached 38 victories before being killed trying to protect another pilot. And Richard Bong reached 40, a number no American fighter pilot has officially exceeded. That is why Bong takes number 1. So who would you put at the top? Let us know in the comments. And if you enjoyed this video, subscribe for more stories about the deadliest warriors and commanders of World War II.